What's good, guys? I have an actual meta contender here. This deck is actually really good compared to all the other deck lists I've been putting out recently, but most importantly, I think it's fun. So, what we have here is Superheavy Orcust, and I do have to put the caveat of I don't know optimal super heavy cards, but I do know the mandatory ones. So, the mandatory ones are going to be the Wakayushi, the Motorbike, and one or two Benki. I have two because we have space since we can't play spells or traps. Um, and then I've just got some other like Soul Gaia Booster. I think you have to play, and then Wagon seems like it's good to play, so I'm playing it. And so the theory with this deck is Gear Gigant X can search out Gearsu. And so since you don't normally have to use your normal summon with the super heavy combo, that means you can get into Orcust immediately, more or less. It also gives us an outlet for Baron, an actual negate for the Orcust deck, outside of Crescendo, obviously. But a negate you can put up early enough so that if you get Nibiru'd, you're not crying. Um, and so I really like this deck list. I've had some success with it, and it's really not bad. I'm actually really bad with the super heavy part, so I keep forgetting to put the Wakayushi in scale. But outside of that, this deck has been treating me really well, and it doesn't feel really janky. This feels like a real deck that has an identity. So I'll show you some little combos, or really the combo that you need to know to make this deck work in just a second. But um, if there's any super heavy cards I'm missing that I either should be played or I'm playing too many of, do let me know. This is something I'm not actually that informed about, other than the bike, the Wakayushi, and the Benki. I know that those are the required ones, but it's all the extra pieces that I'm unaware of. Anyways, let's get into at least one, if not more, combos. So to start, we of course have the one card combo that is Motorbike. So we're going to start by using the Motorbike to search out the Wakayushi. Wherever he is, there he is. So go ahead and add the Wakayushi to hand, not to grave. And then we'll just go ahead and scale up the Wakayushi, or the Prodigy, whichever you like to call it. And then we can use its effect, summoning itself and activating Benki from deck. There he is. So he goes right here. And then we can use the Benki to search out the Soul Gaia booster. Should be a Soul Gaia booster. Yep, Soul Gaia booster. And this is why you have to run at least the one Soul Gaia booster, so that you can then go ahead and attach the Soul Gaia to Prodigy and then use its effect to special summon, since it's equipped by its own, I think it's by its own effect. And then from here we've got two choices. Since we don't have Orcust in hand, we're going to go ahead and overlay the two for a Gear Gigant X, which will then use the effect of to go grab the Gearsu. And then from here, it's just full Orcust combo. You know the vibe, right? You normal the Gearsu and go on from there. Now, if we happen to have some Orcust card, whether it be the Gearsu or the Nightmare or the Heartpour, then we get the luxury of Baron. So it's the same combo with the Super Heavy. You send the bike, grab the Wakayushi, scale the Wakayushi, use Wakayushi's effect to special summon and activate the other scale. Use this guy's the big monk to go grab the soul monster, Soul Gaia booster. You then use the Soul Gaia booster to attach and then special summon. But then since we have the Mech Knight, we can actually go ahead and send these two to grave for a synchro play. The Stardust, Excel, and then Excel can summon out the Motorbike, and then these two will then turn into the Baron. And when you make the Excel, see, this is what I mean by I'm kind of bad with the super heavy stuff. When you make the Excel, you need to use the super heavy Prodigy's effect to go to the extra deck face up and then trigger it again to put it in scale. And then from here, you can actually just pend for the Gearsu and then go ahead and use Gearsu to go full Orcust combo again. Now, the funny part is, even if we didn't get the scale, this still works because you can just normal the Gearsu. Of course, you don't want to burn a normal, but you can do it, and it doesn't matter. So finally, what do we do about Droll? The answer is actually just start with the Wakayushi. Um, because if we do any searching, then we can't get to the Girsu if we didn't hard open it. But if we have, let's say this is any level 4 in the deck, it doesn't have to be the Girsu, right? Then we do the normal stuff with the Super Heavy, except now we don't have Bike. We have to start with the Wakayushi, but that's okay. So we'll go ahead and use its effect, summon, special out, not special, activate a scale, the Benki, and then we're going to normal summon our level 4, and then we're going to go ahead and overlay for the Girgigit. Now, if this is Harpor, we're actually really happy. We'll go ahead and detach the assuming it's Harp, right? Imagine it's Harp, then we can detach the Harp before we go in and grab the... It doesn't really matter what we grab, but we're going to grab the Girsu, because we're presuming the Harp is here. And then if it is Harp, we can just go off now, because we can special from deck. But the only caveat with this is, like, we don't get our normal summon anymore, but we've just played through Droll, which is kind of nice. So as I mentioned earlier, Droll really does hurt the deck, but, you know, that's not something you're going to get around. That's part of playing super heavy. But since we play as many non-engine as we do, it's 3 here, 6, 12, 15 non-engine right here. We should be okay, right? Just because we can't play on our 1 turn doesn't mean that they get to go full combo. We should see 1, if not 2 pieces of interruption here before they get their turn. So even if they Droll us, we're sitting pretty, because we're just going to throw hand traps at them until they give up. And then we can play. And then since we still have the scales, we're able to go full combo from there. So this is like actually a legitimately good deck. Oh, one more thing, right? Before I forget, you may think that there is some anti-synergy with these 3 cards in the deck. But Babel can add itself back to hand so long as you sent it last turn or it was sent last turn. So if they out it on their turn, you can just put it back in your hand and then it's not in the graveyard. The Crescendo is kind of similar. So long as it wasn't sent this turn, you can banish it. So again, you can do this during their turn. You banish it to grab a Dark Machine. Or an Orcust card, it's something like that. Yeah, Dark Machine. That is either banished or in deck. The caveat is then you're stuck to Dark Machine monsters, but we're playing mostly Orcust, so we don't really care. And with that, then there's no spell or traps in your grave. And finally, the return, you know, how are we getting rid of that? Well, that's why we play 2 SP, because if you summon SP using an extra deck monster, most of the time you want to use it to banish one of their cards, but you can target from either field or graveyard. So you can summon the SP and banish the return, so that then you can super heavy combo if you haven't already. But most of the time, you've already gone through your super heavy combo by the time you've done this, so it doesn't even matter. But, you know, if it comes up, it comes up. Either way, I wanted to present this to you guys because I think this could actually make a splash in the upcoming format. It feels really good, and it's very fun. The ratios aren't perfected, but this is the core idea. If anything would change, it would likely be either cutting Gaia to 1. You have to keep the Soul Gaia no matter what. Maybe not playing Wagon and playing other hand traps instead. But outside of that, this is a pretty close, realistic thing. Also, don't forget, Pankratops is now at 2. So we throw those 2 at the side because it's crazy and it feels really good. Either way, I thought I'd present this to you guys because I think it looks really good, feels very good, and is pretty fun. Either way, get to the kitchen, keep cooking. See you next time.